Hello everyone, welcome to today's tutorial where I will guide you through the process of deploying your Django application to Heroku and also setting up Cloudinary for storage. So whether you are a seasoned developer or just starting out, this guide will help you step by step through the entire process. So let's dive into it. So before we dive into it, I have a slide here which shows you what you should learn in this tutorial. So the first thing you learn is deploying Django applications to Heroku using Cloudinary in Django. Yeah, so this is what we are going to build. It will have authentication in it, and what it does, it helps us upload new photos. Let me upload this one. Upload new photos in this application, and then you can see that photo here. So you can see the photo is here. We have a Heroku domain here, so that's what we are going to be building. So I have a repository here at boneface221 slash deployed dash to Heroku. And then this one contains all the code you need to the final version of the code. So if you just need to see how the code looks like, you don't want a step by step, so here is a place to go. But if you want step by step, then let's dive right into it. So just bring my VS Code here and create a new folder. So just if I can LS here, you can see I have some few Django projects, but I'm going to create one from scratch. So I'm going to create a new one called new-heroku, then cd into new-heroku, and then I'm going to be using ppnv so to manage my environment. So this is ppnv. You can head over to ppnv.piper.io. Then you can follow the instructions to install ppnv. But in case you know how to use pip and the env, the virtual env, you can still do that. So yeah, that's it. The thing I like about ppnv is that it manages all my libraries, and then I have to think about versioning of each of the libraries I'm installing. So yeah, to start with ppnv, just write ppnv shell. Then it should create a ppnv in the location, not a ppnv, a virtual environment in the location specified here. So you can see we have a location here, c/users dot virtual envs. And then I can hold control and click, and then we can head over to that folder. So you can see this folder. You can see the folder which is here. It has, so this is the virtual environment that has been created for us. You can see it has a library. It has this scripts folder. So you can see this script folder will be useful for us to activate. So in case we want to activate our project to use this virtual environment, we need to activate through this. So the scripts, take note of the scripts and they activate. So let me just open VS Code with this, and then so you can see it created a file called pip file, but don't know about pip file. So I'll try to, so you can see if I try again, it says that new shell not activated to avoid nested environments. So to activate this shell, what I normally do in Windows, I'm in Windows, but in case you are in Linux, when you do ppnv shell, it automatically activates your environment. And you can see that because there is a text that comes here that shows the environment. So to activate this manually in Windows, you need to navigate to that folder. We saw the scripts folder. I hope you saw the scripts folder. Scripts, and then activate. Same way you used to do dot source dot slash env slash activate bin. Same stuff here. So you can see the file, the folder. So when I click enter, you can see now I have a new Heroku virtual environment activated here. So I'm on Windows. So in case you're also on Windows, that's how to do it. So to start off, we need to install Django. We need to install Django. So we can wait for Django to install. So you can still wait for Django to install. I don't know why my network is slow. So then you can start a Django project. So you can say Django admin, start project. Let me call it new dash. No, let me call it deploy. Just call it deploying, and you can call it any name. And then since I want it to create in the same folder I am in, just add a dot here to say that I want the project to be created in the same folder that I'm in. So that folder is created. Then you can see our new project has been created, and then we can also create an app. So Django admin, start app, then call this space. So you can see our base is this has been created. So the next thing I like doing is whenever I create an app, I like to activate it in the to add it in the installed apps. So we can just say here base. That should work. So and then next, so we can test whether our application is working by just trying it out. So we are going to create this one from scratch. You can see we have an error here because we have not run the migrations, but don't worry about that yet. And then you can see our Django application has been created successfully. So the next step is to configure our URLs in the base. So next step is to create URLs in the base. So I can close this one, then hide this one for now. And then in the base, we need to create a new urls.py file. You can create a urls.py file, and then you can write this from django.urls. We import the path. You can see Copilot is trying to help. And then you create a URL patterns. So this is not what I want. So I want a path for the home route. So this one should be views.home, and then the name is home. So we also need to import the views from dot import views. So we need to create this one in the views dev home. We can take the request, and then so I don't know what this one is, so you can just continue. So return, I want to return a response here. So django.http import http response. I want the response, not the request. So just want to return a response here. Yes, hello world. So Copilot is trying to help me. I think we can disable it for now. Disable completions. So and then we need to hook up the URLs in the base app with the main URLs from our project. So we can just come here and say when the path is slash it's empty, then we can include our base.urls. So we also need to import the include, and then so we need to include that one in the also we need to make this one a string base.urls. So that's it. So we can still test and see. So I'm trying to be fast here so that we don't waste too much time. So just go here, and then now you can see our hello world. So this one is the response from the views. So you can see we have hooked up this one. So the next step is to hook up the you need to hook up the database. You need to create a new database. So just come here and say SQL shell. This is Postgres. So I want to create a DB first. So create database. I'll call this new Heroku. So our database is created. I know the username, the passwords for the database. So I don't want to use SQLite, but you can still use it. So next up is to create a file called .env. So this one should be in the root. So we create a .env file. And inside the file, so we also need to import some few to create some few. There is this library called Python decouple. So we need to, even if we create environment variables, we need a way to read those environment variables. And then to do that, there is this library called Python decouple. So you can go to Python decouple and then you can see what Python decouple does. So before I do that, just install Python decouple. So ppnv install python-d. So we install Python decouple so that it can help us to read environment variables from the .env file. Also, we need another one called psychopg2 because we are going to work with Postgres database. Psychopg2. So you need to install these. You need to install these so that they can help us communicate with the Postgres database that we have. So yeah, that's it. So the next is in the settings.py file. So I can close this one, go to the settings. Now in the settings, we need to replace this stuff with secure stuff. So we need the decouple to read from our env. So I can just, so let me collapse this one, don't have space here. So we can copy our secret key. You don't need to expose secret key. And then I can say to use environment variable, you just use the config from the Python decouple. So you can import from Python decouple. So from decouple, import config. Okay. Yeah, great job. So this is what will happen. So the Python decouple has a config, and this config reads from our env file. So what does that tell us? So we need a secret underscore key here. Okay. So and then this one won't be committed into Git or into any of the open world. So if we go back to the secret, so this one will read from the secret. So the another step I like doing when working with Cloudinary is working with Heroku is creating separate files for our settings. So you go to the project that you created. So my project is called deploy, and then create a folder called settings. Then inside the settings, we need 3 more files. So we need a common.py file. Instead of taking the common, we can just grab this one and put it there. You can move it there and then rename it to common.py file. And then we can start from here. So we have another file for the production. So prod.py, and then the final one for the development. So dev.py. So we'll start with the common. So the common, and we come here and check. So what are these things that are specific to the environment? So we have the debug. The debug is specific to the environment. So we can come and add the debug to the prod, then add the debug to the prod file. So the prod file needs to be false. So you can see how we are doing this. So we come here, allowed host also. Dev, need a allowed host for the dev. We need allowed host for production. So you can see I'm just copy pasting. Okay, so we can go back here, continue our journey here. So next up is setting up the static root. So the static root is the place where collect static collects our files, but we will set up that later. So the next thing I want to set up is Cloudinary. So to set up Cloudinary, you need to install Cloudinary. So you go here and say ppnv install. So ppnv install Cloudinary. So and then to use Cloudinary, you can see here, you go and create an account on cloudinary.com. Then you'll get these ones. So you can see the cloud name, API key, API secret. So you can just copy these ones and then we'll add them in our env file in the right now. So I'll just add that right now, but I don't know whether I'll not expose my Cloudinary configs. So the first thing is the cloud underscore name. So you just write the cloud name. Then the API key. So let me grab my API key real fast from Cloudinary. They don't need to be strings, but when they are strings, they look better with the highlighting. So we also need the API secret. So just copy that from Cloudinary and then you can continue. So this one mine will be hidden, so I won't show that. So the next thing we need to add is the database configurations. So we can say db underscore name. So the db underscore name, we called it Heroku, new Heroku. So you can see I'm also not remembering it, so just call it new Heroku. Then we go to the db underscore user as postgres, and then db underscore password. So this one should be, so this one is the local password I'm currently using. So that's it. I'll come back and add the API secret, but for now I don't want to expose my API secret. So yeah, let's continue. So we go back to the common file, and then on the bottom we need to add the Cloudinary configs. So to add the Cloudinary configs, you just call cloudinary.config and then pass the cloud name. So cloud name is equals to config. So cloud underscore name. So I'm trying to type fast here so that don't waste time. So config API underscore key. So then API underscore secret. Config API underscore secret. Then you need to import Cloudinary in the top. So you need to import Cloudinary API. So import Cloudinary, import Cloudinary.uploader, then import Cloudinary.api. So that's what you need. So that's it. And then we should be able to use, so we should be able to use the cloud config. So we come to the production. So in the production file, so yes, we have imported, we have one. So first thing is to import the common from import everything. So from common import. So from common import dot, then allowed host, just use this one, but you can use this one to configure. Then, so we need a way to read our database credentials in the production file. So let me grab so there is this project called DJ database URL. So you can see this. So this one you can go and read about it, but it helps us to grab the credentials from the Heroku environment. So we don't need to do it so much. So So we can just install. So database URL. So just import it, and then let me add a comment here. So this one is Heroku specific. So then databases, you can see. Then in the databases, we have the default, which is dj underscore database underscore url dot config. So this one will read our configurations from Heroku, and then also we need to import it from the top. Import dj database URL. So that's it. So but in case you're not deploying on Heroku, you can just do database equals to, I don't know why this one keeps doing some funny things. So then you can say default engine, so then you can write the engine, all that, and then so let me grab that and add it here as a comment because I don't want to waste time. So you can see, in case you're not deploying on Heroku, this is how you, so you just read them from the env. Doesn't matter where you are, but in Heroku we have a convenient way to read our dj database URL. But I can still add these ones, but don't necessarily have to. So the next one is the dev. So we go to the dev, we have the debug. We also need to import, so from .common import everything from decouple, import config, and then let me add the configuration for Postgres here. So this is the configuration for Postgres, the engine, name, user, password. So all these are in the .env. So you just need to add them there. And also I want to allow anyone here so to access the application currently because it's in just for tutorial. So then you can see our debug is mode is true. It's on by default. So I'm going to add my API secret in the .env. So I'm going to add it in the .env. So we have added so many things and we don't know whether our application has crashed. So we can test our application and see whether it has crashed. So let me add the .env, the API secret real quick, and then can continue. So yeah, so that's everything by the .env. So we can try and run our applications here. So Python manage.py run server and see whether, so we must set the settings that allowed host. We started getting errors, we go there and fix them. So I forgot to comment out this one. We don't need this one, but I can just comment it out. We don't need it. So yeah, we have a problem because in the our application is looking for the settings in the deploy settings.py file, but we have just changed. So to prevent that error, we need to go to the ASCII file, the WASCII file, and the manage.py file and change one section. So you can see it is trying to read this env, this environment variable, and if it doesn't find it, it says that this one is trying to read the settings module from the .env. So this one is what we'll use in the production. We are going to add this key in the .env, and then it can read that from there, and then add that as our, it can be used to, we can specify the path to her. So in the production, we'll just say settings.prod.py, but in the development, we want settings.dev. You can see that. Then you go to the OSG, do the same thing, .dev, then you go to the manage.py and look for that, so .dev. So we need to save that and then try running our applications again. Python, so we can just use this one. So you can see our application is still running. You can open it and then you can see our own hello world. So that means our database has been correctly linked, and then we can use our application. So the next thing is to run the migrations as they are specifying. So this one is to apply the migrations from Django, the core, auth, sessions, and then so we can say python manage.py migrate. So this one will migrate to our database, to our Postgres database, and then so the next thing we are going to tackle is we are going to create our views, and then we need to create our views, and then so let's jump into it because we don't have much time. So the home view, I want to start making these ones required. So login underscore required. So this one says everyone has to be logged in to be here. So login underscore URL is equals to / login. So I want to start securing the application. So from django.contrib .auth.decorators import login required. So we want everyone in the home route to be logged in. Okay. So we need to create a login view so that people can log into our application. So login underscore view. So takes in the request. And then here we can return simply. So I have templates. So let me show you. Because I don't want to type all these. So you can see now we have templates for the home, login, and the upload. So I want you to head over to boniface2211/deploy to Heroku, and then go into the base templates, base, and then grab all these files. So I'll start with the home.html, grab it, come here, create the templates folder, then inside the templates create a new folder, it's not a file, called base, and then here we can start with home.html. So the home.html, you can see it's a simple HTML form. So this one is the style. See, it has the nav bar, and then it is looping over images that we have not yet created. But let's first grab those. So can go back here, then grab the login, grab everything from the login and add to our application. So create a new file here, login.html, paste that in. Then next step is the upload. Go to the upload, copy every HTML, go back, create the upload.html, and then paste that in. So this is simple markup, simple HTML markup. You can see you have a form that uploads a picture, input, required, upload, simple. You can see the login is the same. So this one is the styles. So I don't need to explain about the styles. So this is the form, which has an input, username, and then another input for the password, and then a submit. Then you have the home. Home doesn't have much. You can see we have the navbar, small navbar, the one that I showed previously. So we can save these files and then go back to our views, then start writing our markup. So instead of returning HTML, we want to render. And what do you want to render? We give it our request and then give it the path to our HTML. So what Django does is that you can see now it takes all the templates in a folder in the apps and combines them into one template. So, but the reason I've used this syntax is because I want to, so you can see we have templates, then base. So this one is because I don't want conflicts in the templates files. So when I say like this, if I have another app called new base, which has a home.html, I don't want collision. So that's why I have to do that. So that one is for our home route. So we can actually save these, go to the home route and prevent. You can see this one is looping over the images and trying to remove these, go back, remove the login required and see whether still our application is running. So python manage.py run server. So our application is running, so you can click yet. So let me reset these. So this is our HTML markup. We need images, we have the upload. We have not yet added the upload URL, so that's what we are going to do next. We are add all the URLs so that we can do that as fast as possible. So that's the upload. Go to the URLs. This one is the URLs from the project, but we want the URLs from our. So if the path, now, so if the path here now is the login. So if the path is a login, so we want to use views dot login view. You can see now we have completion. So and then we say this one is our login. Next, so the path we want is upload. The views dot upload. We don't have that yet, but we are going to create, and the name is upload. Just creating the URLs. Then you have a final one, which is the logout view. Logout. The name is logout, and then logout. Okay, so login, upload, name, upload, and logout. So we go back to our views. So now this is what happens. So we get into the URLs from the home route. So let's say the path that we currently have is /upload. So it comes, this path doesn't match, but this one captures all the routes that starts with the. So it includes these URLs. So this is our next step. So we come here and try them. So we are at the /upload. So it comes, checks no, no. Then this one is yes. So if this one matches, then it allows the upload function from the views. So this is what we call the handler. So this one is the one that is handling that URL request. So we go. So we actually need to create. So we actually need to create the. So let's create those functions very quick. So we need the upload takes in the request. So all these handlers need to take in the request. And then we can return. Then we render request. We give it the request. Then we have our templates, the ones that we specified. So next we need the logout. We also need the logout. So this is the functions that handle. So logout user. Just write it logout. No, I want to log out the user because there will be some crash with the naming. So give it the request. I'm typing too fast, so I don't know why. So you can stop this one from running fast. So now this one we call the logout function, and then give it the request. We are going to import it, don't worry. So then return redirect to login. So we need to import those. So first one is to import from Django. Actually, it's from this one, this folder, because it's the auth folder. Then dot. So then we can import the login, logout. Then we need another function for authentication. So we need the authenticate. So we can continue writing this one. So we also need the redirect. So that one should come from the Django.shortcuts. Django.shortcuts import redirect. So that's our views. So we have our login view. So the login also needs to render. So the request, then base login.html. So that's it. We can test and see whether application will run up to that point. So we need to run our application. It's running, still working. So we can try this one. Yes. You can go back and you can go to the /login. Yes. So this is our login form. You can see now we can visit the home route, but we want to protect that home route. So to protect the home route, we add this. And we also need to protect the upload route also. The upload needs to be, yes. So if we try and visit the application right now, we are redirected to the login. So that means everything is working. So the next step is to create the models for images, link it to, we can then link it to our user, and then we can continue to the next step. So to create a model in Django is simple as going to the models, and then I want to create a class for images. So models dot model, then we need the user. So models dot foreign key. So we want a foreign key relationship whereby an image belongs to only one user, and then a user can have multiple images. So I need the user, then on delete, so we call the models dot cascade. Cascade says if you delete a user, then delete all the images related to that user. So then, so I want the related name. So this is the field that will be created in the user table. So we have the user table, and then the user table is created by Django. You can still inherit that. You can create your own custom, but I want to use the user table from Django. So the user table, so let me first import from django.contrib.org.models. You can see we are going to the models. You can import the user model. So the related name says this field, when create a field called images in the user table. Okay. And then in the images table, we have a field for the users. So next one is the actual image. So we are going to use an image from Cloudinary. So we need to import this Cloudinary. So from Cloudinary.models. So you can see we are still going to the models. So we have a model for Cloudinary. Then we can import Cloudinary field, and then we can use that Cloudinary field right here. So I want to call it, can call it any name. So I want to say new dash Heroku. Just call it simple names. So this is how it will show up in the Django admin, but not necessarily, but you can still add it. So then we can specify a folder, new dash Heroku. You can just see that one. Then you can create a field created underscore art, which is equals to the date time field auto now. So this one adds the datetime field whenever a new record is created. So models.datetime field. And then we need a string representation. So we want to return self.user.username. So this one self references the class, which is images. We are saying the string representation of this. So the string representation is like, maybe you have a table of all these images, what will be shown up? So we want to see the username. So self references the current class, and then you go to the user, and then the username. The user model has the, let me show you. So I've just right clicked and I've gone into the actual model of the user. So you can see this one now inherits from the abstract. You can still go to the abstract. Now you can see the models for the users that are created by Django by default. So you have the username, first name, last name, email is active, all those fields. So that's not what I wanted to show, but it's all right. It's all right. So we can now go back to our views and start writing our views. So in the home route, so what do you want us to do in the home route? This person is authenticated, the person that is coming to the home route. So we want the images, to get all the images of this person. So call the request dot user dot images dot all. So where is this user.images coming from? The user does not have a field called images. That field is coming from here. We have a related name, so this field will be created in the user table. Okay, so let's run the migrations. So you need to run migrations for your model schema to be shown. So python manage.py make migrations, then python manage.py migrate. Okay, so we have just migrated. So let me go back to my SQL shell. So if you don't know about SQL, Postgres, don't worry. So I want to connect to that database, which is called new Heroku. So let's see what is here. So you can see we have all these tables. Then we have a new table called base images. So I want to see the user. So select star from auth underscore user. So you can see all the users, but since we don't have a field, so we start adding some images and we can come back here and see if we have that field for the image. Okay, so this is our user table ID. We can also select star from base underscore images. So you can see our image has an ID, image created that, and the user ID. So now what do you want to happen in there? So we get all the images for that user, not for that, yeah, for that user is equals to, we create a context object which holds the images and then our images, and then we can pass that into our template. This is how we pass things in Django. So we go to the login view, do the same thing. So in the login, we want to handle the post request. So if request.method is equals to post, so this is the person who is posting data, then we can grab the username from the request.post.get username. So you can do validation here, but since this one is just for illustration, I don't need to do that. So password is equals to request.get password. Now where are these keys coming from? So these keys are coming from our, you can see our name here, the names we are using here. Those are the ones that will come in the views. And then, so we can call the author ticket, give it the request, and give it the username, which is equals to the username we have just created, and then the password, which is the same password the one I've created. So now this user object returns a user. Now if there is a user here, that means that person is authenticated. So if user is not none, so then we can log in the user. So by logging in the user, we're just adding a session for the user. Then we can return, redirect to, we want them to go home. Why am I saying home but not /home? Because we assigned a name to the, if we go back to the URLs, we assigned a name to our home route. And then you can be asking, where is this coming from? So we can search Django login using the Django authentication system. Everything is in the documentation, so you don't need to worry about, I don't know this, but everything is here. So you can see how to log in. You can see this is the same markup I have just written. So you can go to the documentation, how to log in a user, and do your thing there. Yeah. So that's our login view. Then we want to the upload. So in the upload, we also want to handle the request dot post. So if this is a person who is posting the images and this person is authenticated, so we can grab the image from request dot files dot get file. Now where is this file coming from? This file is coming from our upload name. You can see. So this is the name that comes in as a key. And then the value is our actual file. So don't worry about where is this coming from. Yeah, that's coming from there. So then we want the created underscore image, which is equals to, we call the images model. So we import that from dot models, import images, and then images dot objects dot create, give it the user, then we give it the image, which is the image we have just created. So if the image is created, so if the image is created, then we return a redirect to the home route. Then yeah, that's it. And then that's it for the login. So I'm trying to hurry up here because I don't need to waste more time. Yeah, that's it. Now it should be working. But do we have a user in our database? We don't have a user, so we just need to create the super user. We can use that. So then you can come here and say on the admin at Gmail. So our user is created. So if we try to now run our application, right now, go to our application, refresh, nothing. So let's try to go to the home route. Not possible. We can't go to the home route. Let me try to use some user that not exist. Nothing happens. Let's try to use our admin. Our admin is logged in, so we can try to log out the admin. So the view Django didn't return it returned null instead. So we need to fix that. So our logout function is not working as expected. So the best thing we can do here is log out the user. So to log out the user logged in via the django.contrib.auth, use django.contrib. So yeah. So let's try that. Yeah, texting the request. Something is wrong. Go to a home route. So the href is the /logout. Then the URLs logout views dot, no, not views dot logout, but views. So that's how you just simply debug in case you get errors. So in our views we don't have logout, we have logout user. So you go here and then fix that. Save, turn to off, refresh this one. We are logged in. Try now to log in again and log out. Get that, then log out. Then we are just simply logged out. So everything is working. Let's try the upload feature and see whether our upload is working. So go to the upload, choose a file. Gonna use this one, open, and then upload the file using the URL. So we still have another issue here. So let's fix that immediately and then see why. So views /upload. I think we need to add a trailing slash there. Then let's do this. Okay, so everything is looks like it's working. So we can go back to our home HTML. And then since we are passing in the images, is hope you saw. So this is the home route. We are passing in a context with images, and then the images are all the images of that specific user. So we are passing it as a context as, so we are passing it as images. So if you go to the home route, we need to loop over those images, and then we have a markup here to do that. So you can see for image in images, if image dot image, so if you have an image, then show that image. So if we save this and go back, we should see an image. Yeah, that's it. So you can upload a new image, choose file, upload, then click upload. Yes, so our application is working now. The next step is to deploy to Heroku, and to do that you need a Heroku account. So you need a Heroku account. Then when you have just gone to heroku.com and created an account, but Heroku is premium, so you need a subscription to do this, but just follow along to do that. So I want a new app called, how we calling, new dash Heroku, new dash Heroku dash app. Okay, Heroku dash phone phase 21. So you can still use that. You can use any name here. Then you can go here and see how they are telling us to do. So we need to log in the CLI, Heroku login, git init, then we add our remote here. So hopefully, so our application is almost ready and we need to deploy the application. So I will not add anything, I just wait for it to throw errors and then we can fix them, so that in case you are writing your own, then you know how to debug. So you can do here, Heroku login. So you'll be taken here, you log in, close this, then go back. Then we are logged in as, so we are logged in. The next thing is to git init, or maybe just create a .git ignore. So we created a .git ignore. Then we need to just add that markup there to ignore some of these files, the .env and the rest. So then we can say git init. Then we copy that file, not this one. So we can copy this one. So we initialize that repository, and then final steps. So we are at the final steps of deployment. So we have, what have we done? So we have logged into Heroku. Our application is running locally. We have set up we have almost set up anything, but we need another file called proc file. So this is the process file. So you need to create a proc file, and then inside the proc file, so what is the release? So release is what is run after our application is successfully deployed. So our copilot is almost showing us how to do. Then we want to run our web process. So we run that by unicorn base dot, not base, our project file deploy dot wsg. Okay, we need our process file, but do we have this Gunicode installed? Not yet, so we install Gunicon. So ppnv install Gunicon. Yeah, that's it. So we install Gunicon. So the next step is to add our environment variables into Heroku. So as it is installing, and just go ahead and do that. So where is our application? So this is our application. We go to the config. So the first thing I'll add is a secret key, secret underscore key, which is this one. So just add a secret key that you want to use. Just use that. So the next thing we need is the Django underline settings and dairy module. Django underline. Spell this one correctly because this one may cause the break. So where is our settings for production located? So that's how we should interpret this. Our settings for production are at deploy settings prod. So settings, then prod. So let me get that back. Django work. Deploy dot settings dot prod. So just add that. Then the cloud name. So we're going to add this one first. API underscore key. Let me grab the API key from my other screen. So you have the API key, then the API secret, of which I'm not going to show. So I'm just going to grab these, then add it right here. So we grab our API. So our API secret. Okay. Now we are ready to deploy our application. So I don't think we are missing anything else here. So let the code tell us whether we made a mistake. So what else do we need? We need a database for production environment, but in Heroku, if you don't specify a database, it will instantly add you a new database for you. So we're going to now deploy. So to deploy, just run git push Heroku master. Oh, we did not add anything. So just add a simple message git push Heroku master. So let's wait for any errors and then we can solve them. So let's see. Deploying the next box. So let's wait for it to finish. So let's wait. Let's wait. Failed. Yeah, that's right. So we're getting some errors here. We need to go through them. And no database environment set. No database URL. So first, let's go to the prod settings. So I'm just looking for the production using the DJ secret. Then now if it fails, we can just go here to the resources and add a new add-on. So you can grab the Heroku Postgres. Yes, that's right. It's $5 per month. And then you can go back and say we don't need to add that, so let's try to push again and see. So this is the peak period, so even if you get some errors, don't worry. So let's see. So that DJ database URL should pick the database URL that is provided by Heroku and provision that to our application. So let's see. Hopefully it may. Okay, so we have another error. So it wants us to let's see. Temporarily, I can disable these temporarily. So then you shouldn't actually be disabling correct static, because that will mean you need to set the statics files. You need to push your own static files and collect them from. Yeah, so let's try running it again. Let's see whether it will run this time. So let's wait. So I think the correct static hack worked. So let's see whether we can get some migrations. So verifying the deploy. So now when you disable the correct static, you need to collect the statics manually and then push the statics files to Heroku as well, because now the application will not have the static files. So your Django admin might not even show. So let's wait and see. So it's applying the migrations. Yes, that's done. So we can do Heroku open and see what can we get from the application. Yes, our application is working, but now we have a problem. We don't have a user yet. So we have two options here. We can create our own user from the bash. Let me show you what I was talking about. If you try to go to the /admin, the /admin looks weird. There is no statics files from the, because we disabled the correct static. So to solve this, you need to push the statics files to Heroku. So so let's go back to our common settings, and then, but before then, let me show you something. So we have our application running on Heroku. So we can create a bash because we don't currently have a user. So that's a new database. Then we can create a new user from here. Or we have another option of pushing our local DB to the remote DB. So we can say so create a user called admin. So this one has so we have created a user here on the dashboard using the Heroku bash, so you can still log in with the Heroku. Yes, so that's it. So this is a brand new. Let's try uploading a file. You can choose a new file here. Let's use this one, then upload. Our file is here. So you can see our file is here. You can open the image in new tab, and then you can see this one is saved directly from Heroku. Okay, so everything is working. Try logging out. Everything is working. Now the problem you have to fix is this one, and then you can call it. So this one, then you can call it a session. So we need to collect the statics files ourselves. So Python so we can collect. We have static files. We don't. Yes, I'm sure. You are using the static files apps without setting the static root to the file to a file system path. So I know why Heroku brought that error. So static root Django. So you can just search that. So the static URL. So make sure you want to see the static root. Okay, so our static root is the file folder that serves these. And then so let's go back. So I know time is going, but not fix this one. Static, then we set our static root, save, and then try. So I think this one is what caused Heroku to crash. So let's do this. Okay, we don't have OS, we need to import OS here. So then clear, then run it again. And then our static files has been created. But you can notice my statics files are in the git ignore. So let's try returning there's a place we set. We disabled the collect static. Now we want Heroku to do it because so we can go back to Heroku. So let me, because I have my access key, so let me remove the collect static files. So that's it. So let's try to make Heroku run this. So git push Heroku master. So let's see whether it will fail because I think okay, so it can't push because it is saying that everything is okay. We can try changing one file because here you can return the email so that so you can say git add git commit. So let's see whether the correct static will work when Heroku is doing it. So yes, so Heroku did collect its own static and added it to, you can see here. So I want to show you. So 126 files copied to the slash temp build deploy then static. So Heroku collected the statics files for us because previously we forgot to add the static root. So if we go back to our app and try to refresh here, it's still not working. Should be working. So let's try So this one should be working. I don't know why it's not working, but yeah, let's fix that. So we want to serve the static files from the static. So let's try this. So let's try this and see. Should be working. Okay. So this one is a common error that happens. So now our application is working, but the admin's app is not working. So our admin is still blank. So we can try to turn the debug mode on and see what is causing the issue. So os.path.join. So this one should be working. So the base directory. Okay, I think the issue is about not having the middleware for white noise. There's a package called white noise that so let's try installing white noise and see whether our statics files will be added. Then you can add the white noise middleware here and see whether that can fix the issue. So our admin is missing the files. So click this one. So I'm trying to look for where is the static. So let's go back and check. Now our admin is working. So I think the reason it was not working is because we missed white noise, which is so let me show you. So so you can see now everything is now working. Adding the white noise middleware. and then everything is now working. So that's it, guys. You can still log in the admin. So admin, same password we are using in our application. You can see our admin, but we have not registered all the other guys, all the other stuff. So you can see you have the admin. You can edit stuff with the admin. Now you need to configure the admin to pick the images. I'll leave that to you. And then everything is now working. So not so okay, so that's the app, not this one. So let me open from the terminal again. So clear here. I have several applications running and some of them are not working correctly. So admin. Now everything is working. We can upload a final image. You can go ahead and style this if you want to. Yeah, that's right. So upload. Then our image is here. So what have you learned in this tutorial? So you have learned how to deploy Django applications, how to debug. Let me add that one here. So how to debug, deployment, and then how to use Cloudinary in Django. So that's it, guys. So if you have followed along up to this point, then you can maybe leave us like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. So see you later on next tutorials.